disability. It can be myopia, it can be cataract, it can be anything. They don't have to be 100% blind. Do you understand? And these people are also affected by the web. They are affected by the products you build, right? So the things you design, why you're designing it, do you consider these kind of people, uh people that are wearing glasses, how are they going to see this design, right? They don't have to be totally blind. And also people that are blind as well, have you ever designed and you've considered, oh, okay, if I'm going to put this design public, will the blind be able to access my products? With the people that cannot hear, people that cannot speak, will they be able to access my products, right? So this is for sensory disabilities. Then motor disabilities, it's mostly paralysis of either one or all of the limbs, or being disabled from the neck, from your neck down, right? So this is majorly for full product designs. It might not necessarily be only visual or UI UX designs, in as much as they are also considered, right? This kind of people cannot use the mouse, right? People that have motor disabilities, they can't use their hands, they can't use the mouse, right? So is your product, is it possible to use your product using other forms of accessories aside the mouse? Can I use your product using just my keyboard? Can it, does it accept things like mouth pointers and the rest of it, right? And then cognitive disability. Now this cognitive disability is majorly under invisible disabilities, right? Sometimes people don't even know they have cognitive disabilities. I think it's recently that everybody's claiming they have ADHD and OCD, right? These are forms of cognitive disabilities. They affect autism, is also part of it, right? ADHD is, the person has focus issues, and most of the times, users do not even know they have this, right? Let's take for instance little children that are just growing up and they are learning to read, right? And the child cannot read like the other um classmates, and the parent, the most times the parents are annoyed, like, are you dumb? Can't you read? Why can't you read? We find out that this child is, it's possible that this child has a cognitive disability, something called dyslexia, right? Inability to read words, or dyscalculia, inability to read numbers. So they see these words, but they cannot read them because it's, the words are upside down, right? It's a form of disability. Now, when your user is using your products, right, and the person has this thing, whether the person knows they have it or not, are they able to access your design? Are they able to access your products? Right? So let's get past the types. Like I talked about visible and invisible disabilities. I don't know if I touched everything, but cognitive disabilities are mostly invisible disabilities, right? Visible disabilities are the ones you can see. You, when you see this person, you know, oh, this person has a disability. Like the person is blind, the person is paralyzed, you know, the person um then invisible disability, things like um speech impediment. Until the person speaks or tries to speak, you will not know that the person has a disability. Now the third category of disability is what we call temporary, permanent, and situational disabilities. I will explain what these things mean with an illustration. Now look at this picture. Okay, so this is how you describe permanent, temporary, and situational. Okay, so a permanent disability, this person has one arm, right? That is how, maybe from an accident, or um a, or was born like that, but it's permanent, you can't change it, right? It doesn't go, it doesn't change from what it is, right? That's what you call a permanent disability. Then temporary disability, maybe you went to play football, for the guys here, you went to play football and you injured yourself and you're limping, or you just have to use clutches for like a week or two, right? Now this is um a temporary disability. You might be wondering, how does this illustration even concern the design? For product designers, remember, you're not just designing screens, right? You're designing live product. Let's say something like the elevator. Now, if you have gone to play football and you came back and you have an injury and you have to, let's say you have to go to Market Square or you have to go to Spa, and now you're thinking, I cannot use the escalator because of my leg. What do? You use a lift, right? The lift is a design, it's a product that it's built to benefit these people that have the disability. You might be thinking, oh, it's aesthetics, oh, it's nice, oh, it's comfortable, but you're not the major audience. You're not the main user. These things were designed for these people that have disabilities. Now we are now enjoying it. We'll get to that part why how these designs can benefit us that are not disabled or don't have limited abilities. But this is just explaining temporary disability. Then situational condition. That one too does not really last. Sometimes it might, but yeah, because of this, the person has a limited ability, right? Say, for instance, a new parent, a nursing mother, maybe she's holding her baby and she also wants to use her computer. Can she use her keyboard instead of the mouse and just tap, tap, tap and do what she wants to do when using your products? Or she has to use her mouse and concentrate while she's carrying her baby, right? I just give the instances for just touch, but you will see that it concerns every part of the sensory, excuse me, every part of the disabilities, be it sensory, be it motor, be it cognitive, right? Same with um blind people, right? Same with people that are deaf and people that cannot speak. So you see that this illustration here describes how this disability can be categorized like this, and how solutions can be provided because of accessibility, right? So let's get to the next slide. Now, stakeholder. I know maybe when you saw the topic stakeholder, you were thinking, ah, does it concern me? Am I a stakeholder? Why do I think this is important? So let us know who these stakeholders are and why it's important for them to know about accessibility and implement them in their products, right? So this is how I define a stakeholder, right? I mean, not just me, but after research, this is the definition of a stakeholder. It's an individual or group of individuals interested in the success, that's the typo there, sorry, in the success of a business and are affected by the actions of the business or the outcome. Big grammar. It means if there's a project or there's a business right now, anybody that is directly or indirectly connected to either the success or the failure of that business, and whatever outcome comes from that project or that business, they are also affected by it. These people are the stakeholders, right? They can be the clients, they can be the employees of the business, they can be shareholders of the business, they can be founders, right? Now, these employees can be the designer, it can be the developer, it can be the content person, whoever is working for the success of that project. This is who a stakeholder is. Now, let us bring these stakeholders to speed on why they need accessibility in their projects or in their business, right? Like I mentioned, the stakeholders, they can be designers, they can be clients, content creators, developers, they can even be founders. As long as the business affects them either directly or indirectly, and the results, they also have a hand in it, they are part of the stakeholders, right? So let's see how the designer is involved in implementing accessibility, right? This is what concerns us now, because I know most of us here are designers. So if you can jot it down, I advise you do. But these are some of the things in this bulletin are some of the things that you need to do to implement accessibility: clear layout and design. This means clear structure of your heading, clear structure of your paragraph, your tables, and your forms. When you started, I think when you're learning, you learn the basics, right? You learn why layouts are important. You learn why all these are important. Sometimes you want to jump it because you just want to rush into Figma, but I advise you take your time, because these things are important if you're going to build an accessible product, right? Why do you think it's important for your headings to be clear and your structures to be clear, your paragraph? But I think it's nothing. It's not just to put copy and paste letters. Let me tell you why. If someone is assessing your product and the person has a disability, let's say, for instance, the person is blind, and this means the person does not view your website or your mobile app or whatever it is you're building. The person does not look at it with their eyes, right? So the person assesses it using a screen reader. There's something called a screen reader, right? So the person uses a screen reader to access your products, and with the help of the keyboard, right? Because the person does not use a mouse either, because the person that is blind does not know where to click and go to search. So they use just the keyboard and the screen reader. Now, clear layouts like this are important because they have to tab, and then you have to use the keyboard or the arrow key to go from paragraph to paragraph, to go from heading to heading, to go from table to table, and all of that. They have to do that like that for them to be able to perceive your product. And they're not using their eyes, and they're using their ears to listen, right? So these things are important. You do it, you take your time, because you're trying to make your product accessible, right? Another thing is color. It doesn't just have to shine like this. My slide now is looking colorful and all, right? Because people that are blind cannot see your beautiful colors. What is important is they should have good contrast, right? Okay, people are blind that are blind is extreme. Like I said, the person doesn't necessarily have to be blind. The person might just have an eye defect, right? Let's say, for instance, the person is colorblind. Colorblind people have problems differentiating colors, right? So use a good color contrast, right? Don't use just colors for hierarchy. When you're designing your navigation bar, you're just using color to show that I'm moving from home to payment, or I'm moving from home to settings. It's confusing, because if I am colorblind, I might not know the difference. It's not enough, right? So you attach something else to show the interaction, right? So another thing is large links and buttons and controls. Let your links be large, so that they will know that, oh, this thing is clickable, right? This thing is clickable. Another thing is labels and affordances. This is very important, especially for people that use screen readers, because this thing, the screen reader announces the page for them. They don't see it, so it announces it. Okay, it announces the heading. Heading, it says what it is, right? Paragraph, list of three, it mentions it. So you need to label properly. For instance, you're designing a login page, right? You might have learned that, okay, why you do it, put a label at the top of your form, and before you put another one inside. You might be thinking, why is this is not stress. If I just put one, the person should know that you should enter your number or enter your password or enter The one at the top serves as a label, as an affordance, right? It announces what the user is supposed to expect, and that is how they view it using a screen reader, right? So the next one is good font type, size for different screen choices, and make them adjustable. Like I said, aside being blind, so people have eye defect like myopia, hypermetropia. I don't know which one is which, but I know that some people see things very far and some see it very close, right? So make your font adjustable for them so they can choose which size of um font font type that is going to be comfortable for them. I'm sure you've used some products, they have it in their products where the person can just go, or things like zoom in and zoom out is another way to give these users choices, right? And for fonts, there are specific accessible, um I'm looking for the right word, there's a rule, right, as to what ratio the font and the background should be, right? I think for if you're using large font, the ratio from the type to the background should be 7:1, right? Then if you're using a small text, it should be 3:5:1, right? I'm not going to go into details, but because of our time, I'm not going to explain these ones into, because you have to actually go through the WCAG form and understand it. But if you have a question and you need me to be thorough about it, you can send me a DM later, right? So the next part is transcript and closed captions. Now, there used to be this should I say commotion on Twitter where people talk about, oh, why is a grown person using captions? Okay, not really Twitter, but it's generally said, oh, why is this grown adult using captions to watch movie? Like some people think is, I don't know whether it's elite stuff for you not to use captions. It shows that you're smart, you understand English and whatnot. Now, I'm here to tell you that these closed captions are not even for you, right? It benefits us, yes, at the long run, but it's not for you, right? This is mostly for people that are not here, right? They cannot hear, but they need to watch this movie. So they need to know what this person is saying. So they just read it and watch the actions, right? Or for people that are learning a new language, they don't understand, let's say, for the K-drama lovers here, I'm a K-drama lover myself. So you're watching a K-drama and you put your captions on. You see that it benefits you because you're not a Korean person. You don't understand Korea, but the closed captions help you understand the movie and enjoy it, right? You see that it also benefits people like us that have cultural differences. Like the definition of accessibility says, is either cultural, racial, socioeconomical, even though disability is the core thing. But these people also benefit from the little implementations of accessibility in your design, right? So another thing is media players. The media players should have the pause caption, the pause, sorry, for the media player, you should be able to pause your captions or stop it or adjust your audio, right? Give users the choice because you don't know how they want to do it, right? They might need the caption, right? They might not need it. In as much as closed captions are important for people that cannot hear, it can be distracting for people with cognitive disabilities. So you see, all these people have disabilities and not all of them need closed captions because for these other people it can be distracting, right? So they have to put it off to be able to enjoy whatever it is they're playing. And then the last one, which has become very rampant, and I don't think anybody has missed it, especially on Twitter lately, alt text and effective use of images and illustrations, right? If you're going to put an image on your website or your um mobile product that you're designing, make sure it has an alt text, right? People that cannot see it will also want to know, they also want to feel um the image, they also want to understand it. It should help them. You should understand that you're not, that the people, it's not only limited people or people that have no disability that use your product. You might not know, but they do, right? So it's bad when they just go to a product and they click on their tab, it's saying blank, 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 blank. I cannot understand anything. They will not want to use your product anymore, right? We'll get to the importance, like why it is important. Because right now you might be saying, they are the minorities now, so it's not our business, right? So why we continue, we know why implementing accessibility in our design is important, right? So I took my time to explain this part for designers because I believe that most of us here are designers, right? So let's get to the next stakeholder, content writer or content creator. I also want to believe that we have UX writers here. I think so. Or content creators, or people that want to be technical writers in future, or people that write generally. These people are also supposed to implement accessibility while they do so. And I just put down just 2 points, right? Content should be clear, understandable, and straight to the point. It should not be unnecessarily long, as it can affect users with cognitive disabilities. So you're a writer, you write articles. There's something called cognitive load, right? You should not have a line, should not have more than, I think, 7 characters. I cannot remember the specifics, but when I do, I could drop it for the pixels on in the DM to share to you later, right? But there's a specific number of character that should be in each line. Why? Cognitive load. Don't go and stress your readers, be your users, right? Don't stress them because they want to read your content. Put them in consideration. Same with creating content. Your videos should not be unnecessarily long. Some people don't have that patience. Okay? And most especially, they should be clear. Limit the jargons. Limit the big English. It's not everybody that knows big English. And if for any reason you have a word that you think is big and needs explanations, attach a link that will take them directly to the definition of what the word you mentioned means. When they go through it, they can go back to reading. Okay? Consider these people that have cognitive disabilities. Many people are easily distracted, many people do not understand, and many people get bored easily. They have focus issues. People that have ADHD have focus issues. So make it, attract them with your content quicker. Don't make them leave it, which is not the point of writing in the first place, right? The second one is there should be clear notifications and feedback. Users should be sure they are doing the right thing at every step. Error messages should always be available and understandable. This is for my UX writers. I want to believe there are UX writers here and designers as well, right? For the UX writers, copies, right? When they click on delete, let them know that, okay, this has been deleted, and give them an opportunity to undo it, right? Feedback. Users like feedback. They like to know what they are doing. And this is even for general users. Talk more of people that have disabilities. These people now, they are always on the standby to know what is going on. Don't leave them hanging. Don't leave them confused, right? So this is for content creation and writing. I'm going to vaguely talk about development. I don't know if there are developers here. I don't know if there are developers here, but I'm going to talk about a little bit how about how developers can implement accessibility, because they are important, because designers and developers work together, right? First of all, developers should please code what designers have designed. If you're a developer here, please, by all means, please, if you don't understand this, reach out to the designer and communicate, right? If the designer is implementing accessibility in their design, and you're going to code another thing, it will be a problem. It will be like a waste of time. Okay. Where there is labels, please implement the label, because the only way the screen reader can read the labels or the affordances that the designer has designed on his own part, on or her own part, is if the developer implements it. So the developer should try to implement um the designs, and they should make sure to use semantics. Always use the basic HTMLs before you go and try to innovate codes on your own. Most times the basic HTML has those labels. Okay, most times the basic HTML has those semantics they need, the screen reader recognizes. So when you go and create your own code afresh, it's mostly impossible, if I'm even speaking the right thing, for the screen reader to notice it, to recognize it, right? Too much div. I hope I'm calling it well. Is not needed, because the screen reader does not recognize it, states it as a blank, and you see that your efforts, it's in vain. Your design is beautiful, yes, but it is not accessible. And accessibility and usability, they work hand in hand. If you're going to build a product that people are not going to use, it's a waste of time. Okay, so that's for developers. I did not write it down here because I was thinking, oh, we're majorly focusing on designers. Then I'll just quickly talk about the clients and the founders. I know that there are future founders here. Please, um why you try to sponsor or pay for the other parts of your design, consider accessibility. Listen to the suggestions given about accessibility. It's important, right? It is important, and very shortly we'll get to why it's important. So one successful way to introduce anybody to any movement is by stating the importance. I'm so sorry for the typo. Stating the importance and how it will benefit the participants, right? So let us go into the importance of accessibility, which is one of the reasons that we are here, because you need to know the importance of something before you say, okay, I want to get involved. Moral, they are put divided or categorized into three main importance, right? The moral, first of all, you might say, oh, the people with disability, they are the minority. They are not the minority. They are 21, they are about 20% of the world population. That is about 1 billion people have a disability or the other. So imagine you're building a product, or you're building your website, or building whatever, and you're intentionally trying to neglect 1 billion people. I don't think that product is going to thrive as much as you think it's going to do. You might try first year, second year, third year to start shaking, because you're leaving out an important part of the population from your work, right? Now, for the moral, one size does not fit all. One size fits all doesn't work for all users. Okay? The one cap fitting, I don't know, you probably had before, one size fitting all, it doesn't work for all users. And we've noticed now from the explanation we've stated that even inside the disability, okay, even inside the disability that you're designing for, one feature that you will design will be important to this person, and it will be an inconvenience to the other person. So that is why it is important to create room for options for these people. Okay, now the most important point under this moral is scope cut effect. And I said I was going to mention it when I started talking. Scope cut effect simply means that designs created to benefit people with disability end up benefiting us. Okay? I'll give you instances. Designing a building, right? Originally, buildings have, if they are story buildings, they have stairs. Okay, they have stairs. Same with them. Let's say a building like the hospital, it has stairs. But now they've designed slabs instead of stairs. They are slab walkways that people that use wheelchair can roll on. Okay, the doctor can roll with the bed on during emergencies. Okay, now it also affects people that do not have disability. Say for instance, a woman that is carrying her baby on a trolley. That's probably a situational disability, but this person is not permanently disabled and she's benefiting from it as well. Now, someone that doesn't have any disability at all, let's say for instance someone that is using um their hoverboards, now they can still pass through that path, and you see that it's benefiting everybody. Okay, people can even use their cars on that path because it's no longer a stair or their bike or whatever. It was originally meant to benefit people that are on wheelchairs or people that are sick, but it's benefiting everybody. Okay, another one is the closed caption. I mentioned it earlier. It was supposed to benefit people that cannot hear, right? But people um that can hear but want to understand a language better, they begin to benefit from it as well, right? People that are trying to learn new words in English or trying to learn be perfect in English, they also benefit. And to be honest, they were not the main audience, they were not the target audience, but they are benefiting from it. That is cop cut effect. Okay, now legal bodies now, they are creating laws to ensure that accessibility is implemented in countries. Okay, example, the UK, Canada, America. You might think, it's not entering Nigeria yet now. It's not entering Nigeria yet. We are safe. Unless you don't want your business to grow beyond Nigeria, you don't have a vision to go beyond Nigeria. And I believe that we adopt things and very soon we'll adopt it. So imagine building a product for years, maybe 3, maybe 4, maybe 5, and it begins to grow, get international, and they tell you, oh, you need to shut this website down because it does not adhere to the accessibility rules and standards and the compliance, or you're going to pay a hefty fine of so dollars. How much will they make for the product? How much is your gain? Do you understand? So I know that a lot of people might not want to they might not want to implement accessibility for moral reasons, but nobody likes to lose money. So that should be a pushing factor. Okay, now business, which is the main reason anybody even starts anything. In business, you want your brand to grow, you want to get engagement, you want to make money. That is why you start a business in the first place. Now imagine a business where you do not neglect like up to 1 billion people in the world. You include them. Not saying everybody, all of them will want to use your product, but you give them a chance, you give them a choice. And these people are not included in your business. You see that you make more money, right? You gain the trust of people because people are very empathetic in nature, right? People like sympathies, people like good deeds. And this can make you get the trust of people. This person they consider, this person is considering people that I will patronize them just for that. You can gain the trust of people. And you have more engagement because people like things like that. And now you're giving the room for not just this particular demographic, but these other people. You're giving room for everybody to join. Okay. And most importantly, profit. Profit, money. That's like why anybody's doing any business, right? Now, I think we are almost done. So, how do you learn about disability? Accessibility and implementing it in your product. Like, how do you learn more? Aside what I've talked about now, you might want to read more about it, learn more about it. These are ways you can do it. The WC3 guidelines, if you just click it on your either Safari, either Google, whatever um search engine you're using, you're going to get the guidelines, right? You can read through it, understand. The same with Y area. This is mainly for developers. Like I said, I don't know if there are developers here, but you learn how to use the area labels to create or to implement designs where you have to modify or write your own codes, right? You can learn them from accessibility articles, right? There are articles everywhere. They're in Hashnote, they're in Medium, they're in different websites, right? You can learn about this about accessibility and how to implement it. We have YouTube videos. YouTube is mainly like one of the best schools anybody can go to. I mean, you can while attending your school, you can use it as a side. I don't know, but you get me, yeah. So you can go to YouTube, you can watch videos, and there are online courses, they're both free and paid, where you can learn more about accessibility. So, and yeah, I have written a few articles on implementing accessibility. Here is my this QR code. You can scan it, you can take a picture of it, you can save it. It will take you directly to my blog, or you just click, you just copy the username of my blog and check it directly. And these are my social media handles. You can connect with me and ask me your questions, and I'll try my best to answer you as much as I can. I think, yeah, thank you. That's about it. Thank you, guys.
Victoria, I don't know, is my audio clear? Because I had to like switch to my phone because my laptop went off. Is my audio clear? Timmy?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's fair.
Okay,
I think
okay.
I used like 8 minutes from their time. I'm sorry. So
No, Victoria, I really wish we can even sleep here and do night vigil. Like, you're, I'm speechless. Victoria, thank you very much. Your section was amazing.
I
Like, this
appreciate it.
was
Thank
great.
you.
Honestly, we enjoyed the way you explain everything in depth, like using the medical terms, the whole orishi and everything. No, this was wonderful. Thank you so much, Victoria, for this section. Thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for
would
having me, and
appreciate it
thank you
if you
for
can drop your.
listening.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Victoria. I would the link to your social media page on the comment on the message section. I know you've showed us, but like, some people might just want to like click directly so we can follow you ASAP. Victoria, I can see
Okay,
why they call you the accessibility evangelist. You are an evangelist to the core. Like, thank you so, so much. So
you're
once again,
welcome.
guys, I'm sure that you enjoyed. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure you enjoyed our speaker. So please let us celebrate her in a Pexels way by dropping as many emojis as you can, guys. Please, we're supposed to like please just drop as many emojis as you can. Celebrate her in the Pexels way. Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you so much. So if you have questions, I can see thank you guys for dropping your emojis. If you have questions, please just indicate and she would answer every one of your questions. But just before that, I picked out some questions from the registration form So while you're like getting settled to ask your questions, I just want to give you time to like settle down and ask your questions. I'll just ask Victoria, I have to like ask you some questions directly. I picked it up from the people that registered. So the first question is by Paminos Murongi. I don't know if Paminos is here, but I don't know if he's here, Sha. But he's asking, he said, how can we test for accessibility in a mobile app? That's what Paminos is asking. So Victoria would appreciate it if you can share with us how. Okay, thank you for dropping your social media. So would appreciate it if you can answer that.
Okay, so um there is this testing for accessibility is mostly done by professionals because not just anyone can do it because of mix up. I mean, you can try, but you will not give the exact evaluation, right? That's I just want to put that out there. Now, for this question, there are accessibility checkers. Okay, there are checkers that can be used for they can be used to check whether websites, whether mobile apps. Okay, so there are accessibility checkers like an NVDA. This one, I think, this one is mostly for mobile for website. Then for mobile, you have an accessibility option in every. I don't know, for iPhone you have that, right? You can use that to check if you can use this particular product by just listening to it. Okay, I think there are accessibility for iPhone. You can check your settings. You can put turn on the accessibility mode where you get to listen to your product, right? You can do that and check. Okay, by listening to this, is it mentioning everything? Is there anything that is being skipped? Right? You can use that to check. Okay, and with the other checkers, accessibility tools that are available to use to check. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, you did, Victoria. You answered the question like perfectly, and I just want to say thank you for that. The second question is by Felix Idowu. Me personally, I feel like you've answered this question already, like during the whole section. But I'd just like to ask the question again on his behalf. I don't know if Felix is here. I don't know if he's here. So I'll just go straight to ask. He's asking, how do I include accessibility in my design process?
Okay, so like you said, I mentioned it and I took my time because there were more designers here than I don't know if there are developers here at all, but there I mentioned it earlier and I might just have to maybe share my slide to you later to give to them. But I said you can do it through alt text. Okay, alt text is one way, color contrast is another way, making sure your layout is perfect, the headings, the paragraphs. Okay, make your products adjustable to fonts because of people that have eye defects and so on. I think there were like a lot of bulletin points. I cannot begin to mention it from the very beginning. It's like I'm talking about it again.
Yeah, I get. Earlier I mentioned that you had already like explained this whole thing. Yeah, so thank you very much, Victoria. So if anyone has questions, please, this is your time to ask. If you have questions, please indicate, and then you would ask. I'll call you to ask your question. Okay. So does anyone have any question? It seems we all understood everything because Victoria was like very clear with bullet points and all. Does anyone have questions, please? I'll just give like 2 minutes for you to like recuperate and then ask your question. Okay, so it seems no one has any question. I think we're all clear on that. So thank you so much once again, Victoria, for coming. Thank you for breaking down this whole accessibility We really, really, because from the audience, no one has any questions. So I'm sure we all understand all Victoria shared with us today. So thank you so much, Victoria. Okay, someone is saying, please kindly share your blog page. Alone Femi is saying you should share your blog page. Victoria, please, can you do that? Okay, can you hear me, Victoria?
Okay, okay, sure. Give me 1 minute. Let me just do that quickly. Give me a
Okay.
minute. Let me quickly get the link.
Okay, sure, thanks. Okay, so why Victoria is dropping her blog, linking to her blog on the message section, I'll just conclude with us. So I just want to say thank you to everyone that attended today's section. You are amazing. We are so grateful to have you here. And we hope to see you attend more of Pexel's section. Our design digest sections are every Sunday, every Sundays by 7 p.m. every first Sundays of the month and then third Sundays of the month. That's when we have our DDS, Design Digest sections. So we'd hope to see more of you attend our sections as time goes on. But I'm sure we all enjoyed today's one. I enjoyed today's one, Sha. Thank you so much. So Victoria has dropped the link to her blog. You can do well to follow her there and to follow her blog, sorry. Okay, Timileyin is raising up his hand. Timileyin, you have a question to ask. Hello, Timileyin, can you hear me? Can anyone else hear me, please? Because I don't know if Timileyin can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yes, yes.
I
Okay,
can hear
I can
you,
so
hear you,
ma.
man.
okay, so thank you. So okay, I don't know if Timileyin can hear me, but I can see him raising his hand, or it seems he's saluting us, or rather, he's saluting Victoria for the amazing section. Okay, Timileyin, do you have questions? Any question?
Yes, ma.
Okay, please ask.
Uh, about the accessibility, she said you have to pay some, like, follow some accessibility rules, or you'll be fined. I don't understand that part of accessibility. That you have to pay or follow some guidelines or something like that. I don't understand that part.
Okay,
Okay,
so
thank you for asking your question. Please, Victoria, can you answer Timileyin's question?
I can. So about the rules, they're called compliance, right? And the accessibility has three of them. We have the A, the double A, and the triple A. This will form another course because it's quite long, but I'm just going to throw a summary, right? So this A, double A, triple A, they have rules attached to it for designers, for developers, content creators, what have you, anybody that is going to help put out products in the web. There are rules, right? Like the one I gave earlier about the font size. If you're using large font size, it should be 7:1. If you're using small, it should be 4:5:1. Right? These are rules. And I said, if you wanted to learn more about these compliance rules, they are about 57 in number. They are quite long. If you want to read about them, you can go to the WC3 website, right? Normally, normally people don't go directly to the website because it's long. You could be discouraged, like I said. So that's why you start with articles, right? I've dropped the link to my article. You can start by checking out the article. From the articles, you can dive into other things. It will be easier for you to understand. Did
Okay,
I answer
thank
your
you so much.
question?
Timileyin, did that answer your question? Did Victoria answer your question?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma. Thank you, ma. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Timmy. Thank you for asking your question, and thank you also, Victoria, for answering Timmy's question. So, like she said, you can. She has dropped the link to her blog, so you can like go to her blog and then read more on the topic of introducing stakeholders to accessibility. So, once again, thank you so much, Victoria, for coming. We really appreciate you, and we are glad you honored our invitation. The way you dissected this topic, I don't think we can get this anywhere else. So thank you. Okay, I can see Anita raising her hand. Anita, do you have any question? Anita, can you hear me?
No, I don't. I don't.
Where is the education that you're talking about? Okay, you were raising your hand. You wanted to say something. Okay, Anita doesn't have any question. So we'll just carry on. So we've come to the end of the program and want to thank everyone that attended to this section. So please, I'm sure you enjoyed today's section. So please do well to like spread the word about our Design Digest sections. Like I said earlier, we hold our sections every first Sundays of the month and third Sundays of the month. The time is constant, 7 p.m. So when you go to our social media pages, you would see the whole announcement for Design Digest sections. Whenever we have a section, we post it there for people to register and follow. So I appreciate it if you can like spread the word about the section. I would have shared my screen and showed you where you can spread the word about each section. But unfortunately, I can't do that now. So make sure to share with your friends, your families, anyone. The person must not be a designer. The person can be an aspiring UI UX designer or junior or anything. Just like invite or a developer self. Because some of the things Victoria shared here are also useful for developers and anyone in the whole in the whole tech industry. They were even very, very useful to me too. So like I said earlier at the beginning of this section, Pexels is a design school that train and mentors junior and aspiring UI UX designers. We have like different class groups that can accommodate your learning needs. When you go on our website, you see a page where you can like an option, sorry, where you can enroll for our classes. So would appreciate if you can like go to our website and then just they are all there like for your perusal and then go through them. So thank you so much. Before I go, it seems Timileyin has any question. Timileyin, I can see you saluting us again. Do you have any question?
No ma, no ma.
Okay, you're saluting us there. So we'll call it a wrap for the night. So thank you so much, guys, for attending. And once again, I cannot stop telling you thank you, Victoria. We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much. And before I go, this whole section was recorded. So you can get the link. You can go to our YouTube page, Pexels, and then you can get the whole section. We've recorded it for you to like watch whenever you can. So you can go to our YouTube page and Instagram page too. Everything is there. You can go there and then watch and then just apply all what Victoria has shared with us. So thank you guys and good night to all of you. Tomorrow is Monday. Make sure you rest well. Okay, so Kiki, Adam, and Uchechi, thank you for joining in. You can leave the call now. Adam, I hope you come for the next session, Adam and Kiki. We are done with the section. Please, you can leave the call now.